Good morning, Tony Dattino, Chairman, founder of the USA Memory Championship, and doing my live with Tony before I head off to New York for the month of July. And I wanted to at least bring you up to date with when we come back to our workshop in September. We have a feature that we do every other week called Meet Our Mystery Guest. And I got to meet our September mystery guest this morning, which was absolutely fantastic. And so we're mixing our mystery guest with the lessons of art and how drawings or sculptures or crafting has an impact on our creativity and our mental fitness, and how we can bring some life and creative aging into the workshop that we do, Brain Fitness Workshop. And so it was an exciting morning. I got to meet some fantastic people. It was absolutely terrific in terms of our planning for what we will do come our next semester of the workshop. And we now have 17 participants in it. And we go through an agenda that starts with what we call the question of the day, and then we bring them through some exercising. We then take them into what we call, what's your gig? What were some good things that have happened to you in the last week or the last day or what have you? What are some things that your family members have shared with you that you want to share and talk about, maybe brag about a little bit? And then we go to our artwork, and then we bring a person in that we're going to combine in September, the mix of our mystery guest, as we call it. And a mystery guest is someone who's a senior citizen who we bring into the room, and what we're trying to do is teach people how simple it is to make connection and build new friendships and build community. And so we find people, and there's no problem finding people who are more than happy to come in and share a bit of their background and their history and some of their exciting, I call them front page, the newspaper stories. And so I found a neighbor with an amazing front page newspaper story, and he's agreed to be our mystery guest in September. And we went to his residence this morning, and I'm just overwhelmed and blown away by what this 91-year-old gentleman has been able to do in his life, and the impact he's had on people, and what he loves to do. And it so happens he loves to paint, and of different types. And his house is like a museum. His garage has got 3 walls of paintings he's done that just make you want to stare there. You feel like you're in an actual museum as you're walking through this person's house. It's just an awesome, awesome morning. And we have our art teacher who was with us, the teacher that Kathy Fowler, who will be doing the art sessions for us throughout the curriculum. And we just had a fantastic morning of understanding his paintings and the different colors and the different styles of painting that he's undertaken, and the sketchbooks that he's got, and how he walks people through starting if they've got any interest in it. And just had a fantastic morning of really his life story and where he started in Maine, right? Started in Maine, was in New England, moved to Florida to be closer to his son and his grandkids when his wife passed away. And what a history he's got. We went from one topic to the next topic and the next topic, and spent an hour and a half just loving it and just finding what you can learn when you just talk to people. And just start with simple questions about good morning. You know, I like your t-shirt, or I like your shirt that you have on. Boy, you look like you're walking at a pretty good pace this morning. How often do you walk? When did you move here? How long have you lived here? I mean, these are just simple questions that then take you from one place to the next place. And if people don't feel like talking in those moments, that's okay too. Not everybody that you meet on the street or everybody that you want to talk to in a store or so looks at you like, you know, what do you want? Or are you going to rob me? And I do see a difference from my travels to New York in trying to do some of this socialization with people that live here in Florida. And I live a few miles from the Magic Kingdom's castle. I get to see fireworks every night. And the people on my street here, in most cases, have moved from some other where, so some other state or city or place, and much more open to socializing and talking about backgrounds. And maybe it's the dogs, the pets, the kids, where they're from, and it just builds connection and relationships that we define as community. And I think it's important in today's day and age that we connect with people, because more and more of the science is reflecting on the importance of socialization and what we lose as people and what it impacts in terms of our mental health by isolating ourselves and creating loneliness. And what's my purpose? I talked with someone yesterday who was going through some tough medical battles and just isolated herself. And fortunately, she had a medical professional that encouraged her to get out, just get out and meet people and walk and go to a park or go sit somewhere where you can just observe or watch people, or just go to the grocery store and say hello to the cashier. And so she was blessed, and what a difference a few years have made in terms of her mental state and what it has impacted in terms of her mental fitness. And she now volunteers, and she's involved with community, and just has a vibrance about her that is just encouraging. And that's what we are all capable of doing if we just understood what the penalties are, and I'll say the cost that we incur by isolating ourselves because we had a tough time with something and we kind of bounced into a wall. We got a little crack in our skull from whacking our heads against a brick wall, and how we can pull ourselves out of it. And as we all age and we get older, there are times when we do fall into these holes. And it's always great if somebody will come over and reach in with a hand and pull you back up. And one of the things that we are finding through the workshop, of the Brain Fitness Workshop, is that if we can create a team and a camaraderie and a spirit of togetherness, what a huge difference it's making on the people that are attending the workshop in their mental health and their attitudes, and when they go home, and their vibrance of living, and their families and their grandkids. And it's life-changing. And we should all be thinking about this at any age. And we see it through the COVID epidemic, and kids that have been locked down and couldn't go out and play with their friends. It's like I always say, kids are a great experiment and a great lab study if you just watch what happens with them and their behaviors and their situations, and what a difference it makes in their lives when things like this happen. So I've had a great morning. We're set. Now you say, well, gee, we are starting again in September with another semester. So yes, we have a July month to finish, and then we take off in August, and we resurrect ourselves back in September, and we're putting together some exercises that are just extraordinarily powerful in terms of the differences that they make in people's memories and their socialization and their ability to communicate and feel connection and relationship, and just most importantly, a vibrance in being the best that they can be in their lives and making it worthwhile and making a difference. And that's what we're putting together to start in our September curriculum here. And I'm just so enjoying it because of all the 30 plus years of work that I've done and research that I've had. Finally getting a chance to put it together in a way much different than I've ever done before, but that is making a difference in people's lives that feel lonely or isolated or feel that their memories are fading, and teaching them the lessons that I've learned over the last 30 years is making such a difference. It gives me a purpose. It gives me a reason to get up and continue to go on. So it's a win-win for everybody, and it's just been terrific. And this morning, just as a culmination of putting some of those creative ideas together and planning and scheduling our September workshop. So that is it for another week. I'm looking at the calendar, July 7, we've had our celebrations and fireworks, and another week of our lives have gone by, and I always want to make each of those weeks count for something, to make a difference somewhere in the world, in someone's lives, and that's what keeps me going. And so to that, I am on my way to New York today probably be up in New York for the month of July, so you shall be seeing me broadcasting my Live with Tony from my New York location that I'll be at, and hopefully all will go well, and I'll be back here in Windermere, Florida in the August time period. So have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you on Monday.